Hi, congratulations on your new RV. We're really excited for you. Please make sure before you're signing that you bring the following items with you. If you're a cash buyer, please make sure that you bring a cashier's check, no personal checks at time of signing, or you may bring actual cash. If you're a finance customer, please make sure that you bring proof of insurance listing your specific lien holder. If you need that information, please call us ahead of time. Also, make sure that you bring all valid driver's license of all persons that will be listed on the title. If you have a trade that you're trading in with us, please make sure that you bring your 10-day payoff as well as your title and all persons who will be listed on the title of that trade. Arrive 30 minutes early before your appointment time so we can properly inspect your unit, and also make sure that you have the fridge on and running prior to arrival. If you have any questions, please feel free to give us a call at 810-686-0710. Thanks so much. Have a great day.
Hello, it's Mike with TradeWinds RV Center, here to congratulate you on your Catalina Legacy Edition 243 RBS travel trailer. I'm here to walk you around it, show you a few things to help make your camping experience a little easier. Let's start by talking about things to consider when you're parking, arriving at the campsite. On your campsite, I want you to leave plenty of room for your awning to come in and out. And over on your off campsite, of course you've got your big slide to leave plenty of room for. Make sure that can come in and out unimpeded, preferably nothing hanging over top of it. But then I also want you to think about where your power and water connections are going to be. Your power is going to plug in on the very rear corner on the driver's side of your tow vehicle or off camp side. Then your water is actually going to plug in on the rear of the unit. So just around the corner from your power, but on the rear of the unit. So park accordingly so you can utilize the facilities at the campsite. Once you arrive and unhook your hitch, first thing we do is level your unit. Now your unit does come with a power tongue jack. It has a night docking light should you arrive at night. And a button simply to lower or raise this up. Now I do recommend getting a stick-on level, putting it on the side of your unit, have someone watch that while you bring this up and down. Once you got it level, we'll stabilize it. Now should this not work if you don't have power, there's a little hand crank right here. Get that in there, and then you can manually bring this tongue jack up and down if you lose power. Speaking of power, check your battery posts now and then. Make sure those haven't wiggled loose going down the road. Alright, we got our unit level. Let's go ahead and stabilize it. All four corners of the unit have these scissor stabilizing jacks. Before I start, I'm going to recommend stabilizing jack pads. Jack pads are going to protect the feet of your stabilizing jacks from dirt, debris, hot blacktop in the summer, keep them from sinking into the ground. Just a really good investment to protect the feet. Your 3/4 inch hand crank, you can use a drill gun or an impact driver. Just slow down when you get to the bottom. Because remember, our unit's already level. All we're trying to do is stabilize it. So we're going to bring this down just until I've got some resistance on my hand crank. Got all four of those down, got our unit level and stable. Let's go ahead and hook up our power and water. So again, around the corner here, we've got this big long 30 amp cord. The way it plugs into the side here, it'll go in straight with this pistol grip and then turn to the right, and then put this black washer on. Now should you need to plug into a 110 somewhere, in your convenience pack will be this 30 to 15 amp reducer. That's your power hooked up. Let's hook up your water. Now on your unit, your water is going to be here on the rear, and it's best to go ahead and put down your accessory hitch before hooking this up. So we just got cotter pins to remove here, and then we'll just lay this down. Now as I take this other one out, see, remove the pin on the inside. Okay, it's going to be heavy here. I found it easiest to bring it down from your spare tire. Lay this down. Now we have access to our water lines. I will admit this is a little heavy with that spare tire on there, so be careful doing that. Alright, so we're going to hook up a city water connection. First and foremost, your water pressure regulator. This water pressure regulator is going to reduce the water pressure to 40 to 50 psi, protecting the lines in your unit. I always use this when putting fluid in here because we don't know what the water pressure is at different campsites. Hook that up, hook up your hose, but don't turn your hose on yet. Let's find your hot water heater. Alright, your hot water heater is going to be here on this off campsite rear corner. And all we're doing at this point, folks, is making sure our drain plug's back in. Get some plumber's tape around that, not putty. Putty will gum up on you. Put some plumber's tape on that, get that in there nice and snug. That is an 1 1/8" socket. Once that's in there tight, go ahead and turn your hose on. Now, if your hose has been on for a little while, go inside and open up all of your water taps. Open up your slide if you need to, but I just need you to get in there and get them water lines opened up. Get all the air out of the lines, get a nice steady flow of water going through them, and then shut them off. Then you'll know that your hot water heater is full also, and you can turn that on from indoors. I'll show you when we get in there. There is an on-off electric element down here. The only time you ever want to turn this on is if you're hooked up to 110. Otherwise, turn your hot water heater on indoors. If your hot water heater doesn't seem to work, look out here to these little bubbles here. See if they're bubbled out. If they are, simply press them back in. They are a reset. And then this is your pressure release valve. Alright, so let's say we're going to go camping and we're not going to use city water. We're going to go dry camping somewhere or boondocking. In that case, we're going to fill up our potable water. Your freshwater tank is going to be on your campsite, just above your tires. No need for a water pressure regulator here. Simply use a hose and gravity fill it. Two ways to tell when this is full. One is the overflow valve right here, or two on the inside where you check the levels of your black and gray tanks. There's also a button for your freshwater. Don't leave this unattended while you're filling it. Once it is full, remove your hose. And then whenever you want to utilize this water, you'll turn on your water pump indoors. Don't turn on your water pump and hook to city water. That's already pressurized. Alright, we're all set up to camp with power and water now. Let me walk you around the rest of the outside of the unit. Continuing here on your campsite. To the left of your freshwater is going to be your flue for your furnace. Two things on that. One, make sure it's never blocked. And two, if you are running it, steer clear of that. It does get hot. Your freshwater drain will be right down here. It is a vent for your microwave. A couple of outdoor speakers. If you want to bring your TV out, you can. You got cable and 110 here. This is for your hand crank manual override for your slide. Get your slide in should you lose power. Coming down the back side of your campsite, you got a leash link for pets, and you got your low point drain, both easily accessed right here in the corner. Again, your accessory hitch. I believe your weight limits are right underneath here. You have an outdoor shower. This is for the handle of the shower to set into. Black tank flush, we'll talk about that when dumping our black and gray tanks. You also have a city water connection over here. Come around this corner, again our power, hot water heater. Here's where you plug your cable or satellite in at the campsites. Down here's where you dump your black and gray tanks. On your slides, main thing I want to talk about on these is your wiper seals. So, add to the longevity of the life of these, you want them to stay flexible and pliable. So they have a spray you can put on these. Highly recommend having some of that, putting it on a couple times a year. Keeps it from dry rotting and keeps it nice and pliable and flexible over the years. Off your solar package. Inside here is your solar controller. This is simply keeping your solar panels from overcharging your battery. Up front again, your battery. This is your battery disconnect. That will disconnect all the battery power to the unit. That'll come important later when I talk about your carbon monoxide and propane detector. Speaking of propane, your propane is on a regulator. Simply lefty-loosey, point it toward the tank you wish to be using. Red means no gas, green means gas. This set about covers everything on the outside. Let's go ahead and take a look on the inside. Coming up inside the unit, first thing I always like to point out is the fire extinguishers. Make sure that you and everyone that's camping with you knows the fire extinguishers located at the entry doorway in case of emergency. To your left as you come in, there's going to be a control panel. So here's where we'll check our levels. There's your brand new battery, freshwater, black tank, and gray tank. Freshwater button, that's when I said you can hold down to tell when your potable water's full. Over here is where you control our slide and our awning. On your awning, tied up against another unit right now, but when you run your awning out, you only want to run that out until you'll see your white flap fall down and you'll see a brown bar. Now this will continue to run itself out past that point, so watch it when you run it out. Make sure you don't run it out further than you want to. Your awning lights do have a controller here. The receiver for the controller is over on the right hand side. So make sure that when you're using this, you point it over there. You can change the lights to fade and different colors. Really nice. Hook up here, back up to our control panel. Here's where you turn on your hot water heater. Over here's where you turn on your water pump. Here's your interior lights. Exterior lights is really just your awning lights. Down here 110 and USB ports. Continuing into the living room, you have a 40-inch Sansui TV that comes in this one. Get a little stereo over here. So it won't pick up much inside this metal building, but you have FM, Bluetooth, auxiliary, 2 auxiliaries, and your AM and FM. Dual zoned, so indoors and outdoors. Nice sound system. USB port and headphone jack for that as well. Fireplace. Not just for looks anymore. I can go through and show you all the pretty colors, but the biggest thing now is the heat. If you're at a campsite, it's cold in the morning or evening, instead of turning on your gas and wasting your gas, use their electricity to warm it up in here. If you crank the heat up on high on this, it'll get it toasty in here in no time. Come over to your sofa. That'll quickly jackknife down into another sleeping quarters, just like so. Table as well. Simply lift this table up, remove those legs, put the table on this wooden lip here, put your back cushions on top, another sleeping quarters. Put a big closet area here. We'll come back into our bathroom real quick. Show you have a hand crank open, power exhaust vent here. 110 with GFCI reset. A little plumbing to maintain. Here's your access panel to it. It's mostly PEX nowadays, so just keep an eye on it. Make sure nothing's wiggled loose over time. Traveling, make sure that your shower door is snapped closed and that your vent's closed. In the hallways, a thermostat. Your furnace and AC are all ran on this. Get the air up there. Switch it to furnace. There that goes now. I'll shut them both off. That is just a lock for your fridge. And this is a battery disconnect. Say you want to thaw out your fridge without having to shut off all the power to everything else. Shut off your fridge there, and then you can go ahead and defrost and clean your fridge out without having to shut off all the unit power. You also have a self-explanatory microwave. Below that, a light and a fan. Glass top makes an excellent backsplash. Roll that back. Turn on your panel light. So you turn this to high, hit your spark, and that will light it. Same thing on the oven. Turn it to light, hit your spark, that'll light it, and then you turn this to your desired temperature. Down below your oven is an access panel to your breaker box and fuses. A couple of 40s in there, a ton of 15s. Highly recommend having some of those with you when you go camping. To the left of that is your 12-volt carbon monoxide propane detector. Now the reason I mention that's 12 volt, it's always running off your battery. So if you are out dry camper or boondocking somewhere, nothing plugged in charging your battery, use that battery disconnect up front if you're going to be gone for the day to keep this from running your battery down. Heading back now toward our bedroom. In the ceiling here will be your smoke alarm. You You also have another hand crank exhaust vent here in your living room. Bedroom, a little storage underneath your bed. Emergency exit window. 110 USBs on both sides. And this lighting can be shut off individually or all as one. Now you are prepped back here for a TV. Your battery's on the wall. There's your 110 and GFCI, or 110 and cable hookup, excuse me. Alright, so let's act like we're leaving the campsite and close the unit up. So I shut that light off, shut off my bathroom light, and turn my sofa back to its rightful position. So I'm going to turn my control panel and shut off my interior lights. Now I can see any accent lighting that I need to walk through the unit and shut off. These are all individual one-touch lightings. My stove lighting. And my last one-touch. Now I come back to my control panel. Hit interior and say doors and drawers. Walk through the unit, make sure all doors and drawers are closed. Nothing's going to impede the slide from coming in. Especially, say, this door. We don't need that slide catching on that and ripping your door off. I highly recommend also, when you arrive, to look at that door, because that's the only one that could pop out and impede your slide from opening. Slide in's all we're going to hit. See, it brings your slide in. See the importance of having that one door closed? I want you to hear something. That is just the mechanism telling itself not to come in any further. Don't worry, you're not grinding or harming anything when you hear that noise. Shut off all of our lighting and exit the unit. Now again, on these steps, you want to make sure your exterior door is all the way open. Otherwise this will catch on it. Lift them up. You have adjustable feet with cotter pins. Set this inside, turn it one way or the other just to get it locked, and then set it straight. Now before you leave the campsite, and I say that in case you want to go inside and look at the levels of your tanks, before you leave the campsite, lock, deadbolt your door, and lift and turn this handle for travel. Alright, at this point, if we are out boondocking, we're going to come to a freshwater drain, get up underneath there and dump that. Otherwise, unhook our water, our cable, and our power. Bring up all of our stabilizing jacks, hook up our hitch, and head on up to the dump station. Now at the dump station, park accordingly. Your dump is going to be right behind your tires on your off camp side, or pretty much all the way in the rear corner on your driver's side of your tow vehicle. Get back there and hook up this 10-foot hose and pull your black handle. Now the black handle is going to be your sewage. Once it sounds like that's no longer draining, you can go inside and look and make sure it's no longer draining. If it is, leave that black handle open. Grab the hose at the dump station. Come around here to your black tank flush. Again, recommend using your water pressure regulator. Hook that up and turn that hose on. Now let that run for a good 5 minutes with that black handle open. That's going to wash all that nastiness out of your black tank. When that's done, close that up. Now make sure all that water that you just put in there has washed out before closing this black handle. Close the black, pull your gray. Gray handle is going to be cleaner water as your sinks, your showers. Now while that's running, head on over to your corner there and pull those low point drains open. When them are done, if we're done for the season, come to your hot water heater. Lift up on this pressure release valve. Now be careful, it's going to be let hot water out of there. Once that's done, you can go ahead and pull your drain plug for your residual water. Otherwise, close your gray, pull your sewage hose, and conveniently and sanitarily store it in your bumper. Again, thank you guys so much for your purchase. Hope you enjoy this Catalina for many years to come. Happy camping.